I'm very interested in the story that the WWE is going to tell when it comes to War Games and Survivor Series on Saturday. Because if you look at Jey Uso and the look that Jey Uso had on his face last night when Randy Orton was revealed as the fifth member of their War Games team, I would have to think that Jey Uso's a little bit worried this morning, just a few days before Saturday in Survivor Series.
Matt, you're a little bit worried. You looked a little bit worried last night, Jey Uso. Great job by him. Those of you who don't remember, and Dave, correct me if I am wrong, it was the bloodline that put Randy Orton on the shelf.
Yes.
And Jey Uso, go ahead.
No, May 20th, 2022, Matt Riddle and Randy Orton lost the Unified Tag Team Championships to the Usos. And then immediately after that match, there was the massive beatdown by the bloodline. And then that just happened to be Randy Orton's last match because he injured his back because of that beatdown. And this is his return. So a long time since we've seen Randy Orton. And the reason why is the bloodline and, of course, Jey Uso.
I wonder if during Survivor Series they're going to run the thread of that story through the pay-per-view as opposed to just getting the reveal of Randy Orton at the end. Or maybe we see Jey Uso backstage very pensive and nervous about seeing Randy for the first time. Remember, I don't know if we got a chance to talk about this yesterday. We might have hit on it a little bit at the top of the show, but the MJF storyline that ran through Full Gear, you thought it was a bit unnecessary, correct?
Yes. Yes.
When we get to Survivor Series, do we want to see Jey Uso and Randy Orton come face to face before the War Games, or do you hold it off to see what's going to happen during the actual War Games match?
Yeah, I think you have to do that. I think there's got to be like some backstage interviews or, one of the backstage reporters trying to get an answer from Jey Uso about Randy Orton. You could just see the nervousness in his face. And then during that match, you're waiting for something to possibly happen. It may happen. It may not happen. I think that is the way that you go going into Saturday, because the last thing I want to see is a handshake between Jey Uso and Randy Orton before that match. Like, one of the things I was worried about, because there was a lot of rumors, Bully, about that the fifth member was going to be Randy Orton. And I was like, how are they going to explain that? Because Jey Uso is one of the reasons why Randy Orton was taken out. And we also know, Bully, when it comes to the WWE and this new, I'll call it the Triple H era of creative with the WWE, they dot their I's and they cross their T's. If this was 5 years ago, I would probably say, you know what, they're going to hope that the WWE universe completely forgot about it and we move forward and we don't even make a mention of it. So I was a little worried that they might do that. So when they first announced that Randy Orton was the fifth member, I didn't catch Jey Uso's glare right away. Then when I saw it on social media and I saw everybody talking about it, I went back and I watched it again, and then I saw it. I was like, thank God. Because the last thing I wanted was them to just forget about it and move forward.
You really didn't notice they shot Jey Uso's face about
they shot
3
it for
or 4
a while.
times.
Yeah, they shot it for a while.
It just didn't trigger with you?
It just didn't register with me. And then I saw, everything online. I went back and I watched it again, and I understood it, because I was going back and forth with Big Boss Man Eddie Brasili about, are they going to show Randy Orton? So we were texting back and forth like, are we actually going to see Randy Orton? Because Eddie was saying, I'd love to see him, and I understood where he was coming from. But knowing now that Jey Uso and they're keeping with that story and they're moving forward with it, it makes a lot of sense that we didn't see Randy Orton. Plus, you probably want to save that pop for Randy when he makes his appearance at Survivor Series for the first time since May 20th, 2022.
I had no problem with not seeing Randy Orton last night. I think, Cody gave us enough to let us know that it is going to be Randy Orton. The people did not seem unhappy. Now, maybe as soon as they went off the air, maybe there was a little backlash in the arena, but, 12, 15,000 people booing in the arena were never shown on TV. Thus, it wasn't coming across on TV. So I don't think many people are disappointed. I think now people are excited for Survivor Series and excited to see Randy Orton for the first time in some, 8, 9 months.
Yeah, it's been longer than that. It's been.
Oh, you said 22.
Yeah,
so it's been over a year.
22. It's been a long time. And Cody never mentioned Randy's name. He mentioned legacy, and right away you just saw the crowd erupt. But Bully, we've talked about Randy Orton so many times on this show, and I've always said about Randy Orton that he's kind of been underrated in his career. And I know that sounds strange when you first hear it, but I don't think people really look at Randy Orton as one of the greatest pro wrestlers in the world. I don't think a lot of people look at Randy Orton as one of the greatest of all time. He is. And I think that's kind of forgotten sometimes by the WWE universe. I would say it to you, Bully, that I feel like Randy Orton a lot of times have been taken for granted because he's one of those guys, Bully, that's so good at what he does and so perfect in the ring, he gets overlooked sometimes. And I really thought it was him with Matt Riddle and showing another side of his personality and being funny and playing off kind of like that odd couple between him and Riddle that I think finally fans stood up and took notice of how great Randy Orton is. And like you said, judging by the crowd reaction last night, the WWE universe is very happy that Randy Orton is back.
But when you look at Randy Orton's contemporaries, the people, his fellow wrestlers that came up and starred with him in his day, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Seth, Mox, all of these guys seem to have bigger personalities than Randy. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Randy being the best pure pro wrestler out of all of them. Agree or not?
Agreed.
Okay. But that just goes to show you in the world of the WWE, the larger than life personality will always trump the great pro wrestler. Randy finally got a chance to come out of his shell when he and Riddle were put together. It kind of reminds me of Kane. The big red machine, the big monster. Every once in a while, we saw some type of glimpse of a character or something more than just big monster who destroyed everybody. I think the first time we saw it was maybe when he was paired with X-Pac. And then I remember the incredible backstage promo with The Rock and Hulk Hogan. And then obviously what he was able to do with Daniel Bryan. It finally comes out. We never got to see that with Randy. What did we get when we got Randy Orton? We got a great pro wrestling match, a technical pro wrestling match, a guy who was so smooth, so on his game that it's just like, but there was nothing else there. There was no depth to Randy. He was what he was, a third generation incredible pro wrestler who probably is as good, if not better, than anybody else in the ring.
Yeah,
but that's where it stopped. And in the WWE, if that's all you get, it's only going to go so far. That's why the pairing with Riddle helped Randy, in my opinion, so much, because it brought out some more, showed his range of character.
Well, we talk a lot about Cena being a 16-time champion and, Ric Flair's 16 reigns. And is John Cena ever going to break that? Randy Orton's been champion 14 times. And obviously there's a lot more legs to Randy Orton. We're going to see the second coming of Randy Orton come Survivor Series. Who knows? Maybe it's Randy Orton at the end of the day that's going to be the most celebrated and decorated world champion in the history of the WWE. It's a very distinct possibility. And I'm very, very interested what this run is going to be for Randy Orton, Bully. I think it's a very important run for Randy Orton. I think you would agree, Bully, for sure. When Randy retires, Randy's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I'm very interested in what we're going to get from Randy this next run. He's in his early 40s. He's still got a lot of years left in the WWE, and I'm wondering how he's going to be perceived, and also how Randy Orton fits in to a story as we get closer to WrestleMania 40, Bully. We talked about this before in that story of Cody. Randy Orton is a big chapter, a long chapter in the story of Cody Rhodes. Cody mentioned it last night, legacy. That's how Cody's WWE career started. I'm very interested how this plays out as we're, 5 months away from WrestleMania 40.
Imagine the baby faces go over in the War Games. Excuse me. And as they are getting their hands raised, RKO out of nowhere from Randy to Cody to set up the last hurdle in the hard time story before Cody gets to Roman. Randy wants a shot. Randy, as a 4-time champion, would definitely want a shot at Roman Reigns because of what the bloodline did to him. And Randy's whole thing is going to be, you knew I was a Viper when you called me. I can't be trusted. You guys all know that. I want that championship in that main event spot at WrestleMania just as much as you do, Cody. So I think that is there's a story there, a very good final story, not like something just thrown in for Cody to do, but a very good final story and final hurdle before we get to Cody versus Roman. Because if it's not Cody versus Roman, if for some reason it would be Randy versus Roman, I don't think many people in the WWE universe would be happy about that.
No, I don't think so either. And Randy Orton, I always look at Randy Orton definitely more as a heel than a babyface.
Yes.
And then Randy Orton, if he was going to be the face of the franchise, so to speak, Bully, that would have happened by now. All right? We would have seen that already from Randy Orton, and it never happened because he does play better as a heel than a babyface. But they have a lot of options here, Bully. And again, that glance from Jey Uso meant so much. Because, Bully, I think you would agree with me, right? If this was 4 or 5 years ago, they would have just plowed ahead and they would have wanted you to completely forget about what happened on May 20th, 2022.
Sure.
And I don't think that that's going to happen here, obviously by the glare that Jey Uso gave. Go ahead.
Question for you, and you may want to answer this on the other side, and we might want the nation to marinate on this for a little bit before they call in. Do you think the plan was to bring back Randy Orton for Survivor Series, or do you think they brought Randy Orton back for Survivor Series in Chicago to get ahead of the CM Punk chance? Punk fits with somebody huge on the roster and would be a huge WrestleMania match. Who? Seth.
I know.
Seth is the one that said, Phil, blah, 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 Phil, stay where you are, Phil. We don't need you, Phil. Can you imagine if Phil comes back and on Monday Night Raw, Seth's out there and goes, well, Seth, Phil's back. Now what? I mean, there's something there.
There's something there, Bully, but you would have to put fertilizer on that, sprinkle a lot of water on that. You would have to make that grow. Because you do, Bully, because again, that is Bully, you have to think about it in this way, Bully. That comment from Seth Rollins was at a media scrum with the dirt sheets. Like the dirt sheets would be yelling and screaming about it, but the WWE is so big, that's a very small, minute part of your audience that even knows that shit was going on.
All you have to do is give Punk the microphone and have him remind everybody. Punk still has that something special where people will listen to what he has to say. And all he has to say is, hey, Seth, remember when you did that interview Remember when you talked all this crap about me and blah, 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 blah? Well, now I'm standing in front of you. Say it to my face. Now, would you agree that despite the fact we have not liked the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship, we have been very confused by Seth Rollins. But in the past month, I think me and you have been coming around on Seth and this championship because of the nice integration now of the wacky character and the real Seth. At first, it was too much wackiness and not enough real Seth. Now we're getting a nice little mixture of both. And a couple of weeks ago, when Seth limped away and showed that he was like a warrior champion, it started to resonate with me. So we're starting to come around on Seth. We're starting to come around on the championship. And all of a sudden, Punk comes into the mix. Punk versus Seth for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania does not intrigue you?
Of course it intrigues me. I just don't think
you think it's a hard
necessary.
Sell?
I think it's a little bit of a hard sell, and I don't think it's necessary. And I just don't feel like in the world of the WWE you need that right now. I really don't. Like, and it's gonna take some convincing. So Bully, let's think of it this way. Say you're a part of creative and CM Punk is available and you're like, man, CM Punk is going to get eyes on this. Man, if we have him come out at Survivor Series, or we have him come out the night after, or we wait till the Royal Rumble and he's a surprise appearance at the Royal Rumble, right? And you're a part of creative and you're trying to sell this on Triple H. In Triple H's eyes, Bully, who's Punk? Punk was a bit of a thorn in a lot of people's side for a very long time. So if your argument is, man, Punk would be good for business, Triple H could turn around and be like, this is the best business that this company has done in 20 years. Why do I now have to open myself up and open this company up and open this locker room door open for somebody that could, I don't know, for the lack of a better term, screw things up? Now, I don't believe that would happen, Bully. For not 1 second do I believe that would happen. But if there's even the slightest possibility, if things are going so well and your trajectory is just escalating higher and higher, if you're Triple H and you're the WWE, why take a chance? It's an unnecessary chance right now, Bully.
If I'm a juror and I'm listening to that argument that you just made, I'm on board.
LaGreca Snaps is brought to you by Slim Jim. Snap into a Slim Jim.
Oh, yeah! I want to put somebody over right now who I think has been doing a fantastic job, and last night really, really stuck out to me, despite the fact that she wasn't involved in that much. Chelsea Green has been knocking them dead ever since she's gotten back to the WWE. And I went on Twitter last night and I put Chelsea over. I said, Chelsea maximizes every second of TV time that she's given. You're taught in the WWE that from the minute you go through that curtain, actually from the second you go through that curtain to the second you come back through that curtain, you are working. You are 100% immersed in your character, which means you take nothing for granted. Your facials, your movements, how you act or react to anything. Chelsea reacts to everything so legitimately, so over the top, so entertaining that it just catches my attention. And first of all, Chelsea always looks amazing. Her outfits looks amazing. Her hair, everything is perfect on Chelsea every time she goes out there. She definitely commands the spotlight. And it would be very easy for a talent who is used, I don't want to say Chelsea is used sporadically, but she's definitely not used a lot. Would you agree with that, Dave?
I agree with that.
She's, she gets a fair amount of TV time either every week or every other week. but she treats every second of every minute like it's the last time she's ever going to be seen. And that, to me, really sticks out. It really resonates. The way she talks, the way she changes the pitch in her voice. Last night, when she walked the wrong way out of the shot and then kind of did that little girly runaway back across the screen, dude, I died. Like, stuff like that makes me, it makes me laugh. It entertains me. And I just wanted to put her over today and say that I think Chelsea Green is doing an excellent job. I hope they give her more. Do I need to see more of Chelsea in the ring? No. But I think if Chelsea Green got more ring time, she'd be able to balance out her act even more, because you'd be able to take her more seriously in the ring when she's in there, because her character stuff is light years ahead of her in-ring stuff. But sometimes that's all you need. And I would just like to see her involved with what I think, like, the Chelsea, this is way out of left field, and I said it once before, Chelsea and Otis. Like, I could see Chelsea, vying for Otis in some weird way. I know this is not going to happen. It's just that whole Mandy Rose and Chelsea thing, and Mandy Rose and Otis thing went so well. I'd love to see a version of that, or some kind of story with Chelsea and Otis. I just felt the need to put her over. To me, she's an MVP whenever I see her on the show. I think she makes everybody else better that's around her. And if you're not trying to maximize your time like Chelsea does, then start taking notes from this woman, because she's very smart in every little thing she does out there. Her facials, her movements, what she says, the way she carries herself, her hair, her makeup, her outfits, everything to me stands out.
Bully, her facial expressions. I mean, listen, she's on commentary last night. She's highly entertaining. I wish I saw more of her on TV, just because when they were going to her, like when there was certain moves in the match and you didn't have to even hear her speak, you just saw her facial expressions. She sold me on that match more than any woman wrestler in the ring that was actually involved in the match itself. Like, I can't, like you said, I can't give her any more credit than you did. She was absolutely phenomenal last night. And like you said, she knocks it out of the park every single time she's on Monday Night Raw.
Old school pro wrestling, is here's 5 minutes. Go get yourself over. I've seen Chelsea do it in considerably less time. Remember the old game show, Dave? Name that tune. I can name that tune in 5 notes, 4 notes, 3 notes. Name that tune. With Chelsea, it's like I can get over in 1 minute. And I've seen her do it. Taking whatever they hand her and making it her own and turning into something special that gets some kind of reaction out of me. Like I said, when she walked the wrong way last night and all of a sudden you hear the little pitter patter of her heels going back across the screen, it just, I don't know, like something out of a cartoon or Cannonball Run or some kind of comedy. Like, she's almost like that, maybe that Chrissy Snow from Three's Company type of aloofness meets, I don't know, somebody who's very entertaining. That's it. I don't even have the right words. I just know that when I see her, she's entertaining. She's got the it factor. She's got an incredible, Chelsea's a beautiful woman. She's got an incredible presence. She looks great in her gear. She looks great in her outfits. When she does the crazy shit with the hats, I love the Scott Weiland hat that she wears. That's it.
Maybe Bully, it has to do with the fact that she was a WWE superstar and then lost that and had to go outside, make a name for herself again, and now she's back in the WWE. I'm sure that's not lost on her. I'm sure anybody that has that opportunity, loses that opportunity, and has a second opportunity, They know what they did wrong the first time and what they need to do to improve. Know their weaknesses and know their strengths. I think Chelsea Green's an example of that, Bully.
There are a lot of people out there who, when you get your first taste of stardom or your first taste of being over, or being in the WWE or wherever, there's a degree of taking it for granted. Like, hey, look, I made it. Well, you could make it on Monday and be gone by Friday. One side of the pencil puts you in the main event on Monday. The other side of the pencil has you fired by Friday. That's how quick it can happen in this business.